I'm Alexia Casale and I'll be doing a short reading from The Bone Dragon, or Der Nacht gehört dem Drachen in German. The book is about Evie, who's a 14-year-old, and it starts with her waking up in hospital after an operation. I rise up towards the surface, through velvet blue into grey dimness, up towards the light. And sound starts to penetrate now, low echoes vibrating through the water. But I'm not ready to leave yet. I'm safe here, floating in the shadows. The pain is distant, belonging to the light and the warmth and the air. But this is quite an early awakening from after her operation, and she's still very much under the anaesthetic, so quite soon we find her falling asleep again. I sink back under the water, the world becomes distant, the shadows are calm, unhurried, the darkness beckons me down. So the next time Evie wakes, she's actually much more with it, and this time she comes to quite lucidly and she hears someone calling her name. Evie, sweetheart. My head turns towards her voice, towards the gentle fingers moving my hair away from my face. Amy. When I open my eyes, it will be Amy, not Fiona. Not that blank face, those staring eyes, but love and comfort, safety. Evie, sweetheart. Amy smiles down at me with relief and concern and tenderness. All the things a parent should feel. Everything a mother should show. Amy, not Fiona. So right from very early on in the book, we get a sense that all is not simple in Evie's world. Not only is she having surgery, but she's waking up to people who aren't her parents. And we soon learn that Amy and Paul are her adopted parents. And this plays into discovering, as the book goes on, what exactly has happened and why she's ended up in hospital. But after Evie wakes up, her surgeon comes into the room and explains what's happened in the operation. She puts a little pot down on the wheelie table at the foot of the bed. I register clear plastic, a marigold yellow lid, and something, an odd mix of grey, white and pink sitting inside, almost like a finger. Mine flecks unconsciously in response. All accounted for. And then the surgeon says, "That's your rib in the pot." I took it out. It was completely dead, so there's no chance of it healing. Because it was so low down in your rib cage, you don't really need it. Not a good idea to have it hanging around in there, unattached. Much better to take it out. I turn my attention back to the little pot, and my rib sitting inside it. The thought that I should feel sick, horrified, surfaces, but I don't. I just feel curious and a little sad, looking at another thing I've lost. So then Evie gets out of the hospital and she goes home, and Amy's brother, Ben, so Evie's Uncle Ben, turns up. And Uncle Ben's a strange sort of man. He's a pathologist, so he doesn't have very many social skills. He spends all his life dealing with dead people. And he says, oh, think of that story from the Bible. God took a rib out of Adam, and from it he made Eve, and so all of womankind came from Adam's rib. And he says, I just thought it was a funny idea, that if all womankind came from one of Adam's ribs, then theoretically we should get something pretty amazing out of yours. So, if you could have any pet, any type of animal in the world, or even out of the world, even things that don't really exist, what would it be? I don't even have to think about it. A dragon, I say, breathless at the very thought. And so, after this, Evie and Uncle Ben carve the rib into a dragon. And this is what it looks like when it's finished. The scales clothe all four legs now and cover the dragon's back with its ridge of little spikes. I've scraped and scraped the tool across the dragon's tiny feet to make clawed fingers, and scooped around the crest of the skull for the ears. Small but long, they lie along the dragon's neck, tapering to a point. The jaw is square, sharp-angled at the corners and back towards its cheeks. The nostrils curve up into little points in the snout, while the muzzle flares back towards the eyes, set down on the sides of the face like a cat. That's what the shape of the eyes reminds me of, a cat's eyes. Like a teardrops with 2 points, Only one tilts downwards towards the nose and the other points up towards the ears. If you cross the cat with a lizard, this is what you get. Every line a study in power and arrogance, beautiful to the point of cruelty. Even though I'm old enough to understand that neither wishes nor prayers really come true, things just happen, or they don't, it's still nice to think that all that matters is me. All that matters is that I wish what I wish. And so I wish, even though I know it's stupid and childish and it won't make the slightest bit of difference. I wish until my heart aches with fierceness, because it's night time, and it's dark, and no one can see me. So I can wish if I want. There's nothing at all to stop me. No reason not to, because even if it is just silliness, I want to. I wish for the dragon to come to life. I wish until the clouds return, more and more and darker, until the moon is gone and so are the stars. Then suddenly my body twitches reflexively, starting into noise by my bed. My eyelids start to lift, my head starts to turn towards the bedside table. But the warmth of the quilt drags my eyes closed before they've truly opened, and I'm back in the workshop, watching a mouse dart among the discarded tools on the old wooden work table. As I turn to look out of the diagonal lead-light window panes at the cobbled street beyond, I know the mouse is watching. I feel his eyes on me. And then she wakes up the next night and things are a little different. The wind is up tonight, blowing hard across the fens, wailing through my dreams. I feel the moonlight dim, then brighten on my face, and I can feel that someone is watching me. I look instinctively to the bedside table, and there is the dragon, crouched low over its front feet, like a cat hunkering down in the cold. Its eyes shine like hematite, silver over the darkest blue. It doesn't blink as we stare at each other, but after a moment the tiniest whisper spoke curls from its nostrils. "Are you nocturnal?" I whisper, and my heart clenches with joy when I don't jolt myself awake by speaking. "After a fashion," the dragon says. "Let us simply say that many things are easier at night." And so after that, Evie wakes up each night and the dragon has come to life each night, and she has what she calls dragon dreams, where she goes out onto the fen, so the countryside around Cambridge, which is all waterways and canals and longboats and beautiful frosted fields at this time of year, and they have these sort of little adventures on the fens. And after about a week of this, something changes. In the morning I wake, expecting to be tired, but I feel light, refreshed. This time though, I can't stop myself from opening the wardrobe to check. My trainers, hidden at the back, are damp and pungent.